Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon. Van Diesel, back into the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and switch, shall we? And last what we ended up doing is we took on Area 0 for both Scarlet and Violet respectively. And now we are starting off the official post game. And what better way to start this off than with the gym challenge that that Miss La Primera has given us to go battle against her battle against the gym leaders to see if they've learned anything. Now, I'm doing this on the Violet side because I did want to show off the Violet team. I plan on doing half of them on the Violet side and the other half on the Scarlet side, and I also plan on doing this in reverse order, so if I could find where the Glaceon Mountain is, that would be great. So, I'm just gonna fly over here. Now, my thing is, I don't actually know if I'm gonna start with this, with the gym battles first in terms of uploads. I know the gym battles are the first I'm recording for the post game. I don't know if they're the first I'm going to upload because frankly that order hasn't been decided yet. But as of right now, let's just pretend like I'm going to upload these first. And we're going to start off with the Scarlet side because, the Violet side. Because like I said before, I said in there is video 2 where I wanted to play with the Violet side more because honestly this team feels like all my other teams. They actually genuinely feel like a second team. I have grown with each of them. I love all of them in their own respective rights, and there are so many stories to go over with this squad and how we got here. So yeah, when we kick off these first few gym battles, we'll see. And I don't even have to talk to the guys. I have to talk to them anyways. Huh? I recognize you. You're here to hit the slopes. I don't recall the snow being too good today. I'm here for a battle, actually, Grusha. For real? I've got a bit something important to be dealing with in a bit, you know. Actually, I think I might know what it is. And to be honest, if I'm right, then it's me you got to deal with. Yep, we're telling Grusha the full story. Oh, I see. You're here to cover for Gita. So, your dream came true. You're champion rank now. You must be so happy. I'm surprised that no one else knows about it. Then again, we also didn't post it on our phones, so is that... Oh, my bad. That sounded a little bit more sarcastic than I intended. Don't get me wrong. I really think it's amazing, just... It's complicated for me. That's all. Complicated? Anyway, you came to test my skills, right? Let's just get it over with. Right. This shouldn't be too bad. Let's head outside. You best hope it's not snowing. I know it's not snowing. We just walked out there. But I walk into this a little bit more confident than I should be. Because yesterday, because I was planning on how I was going to do these recordings yesterday on the 6th, and now it's the 7th. And I was planning on how I would do this, so I kind of was worried about their levels. So I looked it up to see if I'd be okay, and it turns out I'm going to be just fine. The weather's in your favor today. I guess the snowy mountains decided to be kind. These league mandated inspections happen a few times a year. If we don't show up, we're good for the job. We'll lose our position as gym leaders. Gita always says just for formality, but I've always had to give up on being a pro snowboarder. If she takes away the talents I still have for the show, then I'll be left. I'm sorry, what? Sorry, didn't mean to bring the temperature down. It's simple enough, really. All I need to do is make sure the power of my Pokemon chills you to the bone. So, by assumption, they don't have to win, they just have to prove that they're good enough to keep their job. Which, I forgot, did we learn the reason why? Well, first of all, was that a reason we've heard from before, that he gave up snowboarding, and two, if we did, then what was the reason again? Did he get injured or something like every great sports person? Conditions are, alright, I guess, good enough to defeat you anyway. Listen, I know what your levels are, because I looked them up, and I didn't mean to throw out Cerebre first. I genuinely have not touched this team, which granted was a week ago, but still, since the Area 0 video for Violet, so whatever the order they were in, I genuinely didn't change them, so this wasn't like me rigging it in my advantage per se. I did choose this second half because I wanted to do it on Violet, not because it was rigged in my favor, even though actually this second half of the gym leaders that I'm going to do is actively rigged in my favor, but I swear that was an accident. But I'm really doing it in this way because I wanted to, do a countdown, since before we did it in order, I want to do it backwards now. Especially because when I checked their levels, the reason why I checked it in the first place was to see if, that was a reasonable idea, to see if their levels actually scaled, and their levels don't. In fact, their levels stay the same for all of them. So, quite literally, I could do this in any order I wanted to. Hell, I could do them in a random order too, but I just chose to do it backwards because I feel like backwards would be nice. Anyways, let's get on to story time, shall we? Who shall I talk about first? Okay. You know what? I'll talk about Lix first, our starter. So, Lix the Quaxley, I've said that before, that ability has become really useful, and we'll get to that story later. But, Lix, our starter. Lix is an interesting specimen, to say the least, because basically, Lix is the reason why we had to kick off half our team members. let's just say this. There was a team member on this squad. I don't know. I mean, I saw what was coming out. There was a team member on this squad. I forgot what the name was because it's been so long. If it was me, and it was me that named it, its name was either Sparky, Bolt, or something along the likes. And the thing that bothers me about that is it was a Promi. So, if you don't remember, Promi evolves into electric and fighting type. And the issue with this is, and I'll pull up on my PC in a second. By the way, this is where I learned that the walking hack, where you can just like walk between like a distance about here and here, and you'll probably get the evolution of like Pokemon that involve walking relatively easily. But anyways, point is, I was trying to evolve my Promi, and I did, and it got to an electric fighting type, which is great. But then I remembered, as you know, I don't like having Pokemon of dual types or like sharing types on my team. Meaning, and by the way, Licks, if you don't know, when it evolves to Quaquaval, becomes a water and fighting type. So I had to make the decision of, do I want my team to have a dual type, like 2 Pokemon with the same dual typing, more or less? Or do I not want that? And I genuinely sat there for 10 minutes and thought about it, because at that point, I had actually fully evolved Kwami to a Quamon. Like, I'm not joking. I had genuinely done the 1,000 steps and everything, and it was once it evolved, I was like, oh wait, it's a fighting type, isn't it? And I checked it and I was right. So I sat there for a good 10 minutes just thinking about, do I want to stick with that or no? Because I know the team's not going to be a big part of the Let's Play. Or when I was recording it, I didn't plan for the team to be a big part of the Let's Play. Then, of course, as time went on, I had this idea that I was going to show up the Violet Squad more. So I was like, if I don't do it, then I'm kind of like going against my own word. And while granted, it's not for like a main game Let's Play, it's still like, you know, going to be for the side of the Let's Play. So at the end of the day, I chose to keep Licks, and the same problem happened later on, too, with a different Pokemon of the team member, but still. So, Licks ended up coming out on top, and the reasoning that we chose Licks the Quaxley as our starter over Fuecoco, because obviously I don't like picking the same starter for both games, is because I just don't like Skeledirge. I really don't. I think Fuecoco's cute. It's my second favorite of the base starters. It's middle evolution I like more than I like Quax's middle evolution, but I hate the, I just hate Skeledirge. I don't know why I hate Skeledirge so much. So that meant I don't get Skeledirge, and instead I got Quaxley. Man, Keto must really have it out for me, sending someone there's no way I could beat. Still, no regrets on my part. I gave everything I had. I hit you with full force, and I lost anyway. It made me feel frustrated. It makes me want to become stronger as a gym leader, put more of myself into it. I thought my passion had frozen over, but you've rekindled it for me. Thanks, Kay. I won't lose to you next time. You'll see. Right. Try not to catch a cold on your way down the mountain, eh? True. Anyways, as we oh, I like that small little bro, and I like that smile we get. I can't wait to do that in the Scarlet video, but or the Scarlet version of this. Anyways, you know, like all around, I don't know why I didn't. Oh wait, I have to leave the building, then I can fly to the next area. But anyways, like I don't know why, I'm just feeling like kind of amped for it. Or where does I get that from? Sorry, I'm going in between conversations. I'm gonna do these in order though, so which means I have to go to Alfornido, even though I could just go to Montenevera. Again, they are the same level, so it technically doesn't matter, but it matters to me. So we're gonna go over here. But anyways, Licks end up growing alongside us as a partner who had to watch Palma die. Actually, speaking of which, I said I would pull it up, so once the screen loads, I'll pull up the box and we can kind of, based off of levels, we'll see, and if they're nicknamed, you'll see all the Pokemon that we have. So take a look at the squad on the side, we'll get more on them later. But we had these 3. This is the Bisharp I caught to evolve King Gambit, actually, from Nobunaga. Where is it? Okay, Brave, our Fletchinder. That was during the moment where I didn't have my full team decided yet, because honestly, none of my team except for Cerebrate and King Gambit were actually guaranteed to be on the squad, and I guess to some extent Licks, but I was tempted to kick Licks off at some point. So, you know, Brave was kind of like that 50-50 member in place of Watts, because I didn't want to use double Pokemon, though I did also name you Watts, or I named you Keela, never mind. I was gonna say I named you Watts out of respect. Then we had Cross Stitch, which was on the team for a long time, and I honestly started attempting to think about adding it as a permanent member, but then we got Serena, and Serena became a tank, so there's that. And then Shion, that was your name. Shion, the Pawmot. Yeah. Got really far, and it was actually when we caught Ghost over here, that's another story, where I finally decided to kick off Shion. But again, Shion I really did consider keeping on the squad. In fact, it was when we had Licks too at full level, because if you see 38, Licks was also evolved. So it was really at the last minute where I finally decided I gotta kick off Shion. Then we caught Ghost, and the thing about this was, I put a Ghost on the team for a long time thinking it'd be fine. I have no duplicate types. Not realizing Cerebrate was half Ghost, and then when I realized it when it reached level 51, I was like, fuck. And that's where I got Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi was literally a last-minute member, no lie, and we'll get to that later. And then Doe, who I think was a part of like the Cross-Stitch squad, so basically before... So I think there was the Starry squad where it was like Doe, Cross-Stitch, Shion, before I realized it was going to evolve into a half-fighting type, Brave, and someone else. Actually, no, Serena was also part of the OG squad. So, you know, we had that basically OG squad. But anyways, that aside, I think, or... You know what, we'll just lead with, We'll lead with Cerebrate again, just because Cerebrate should be fine. But, no, like, every bit of the... Lix was kind of just there to see everyone come and go as they please, but, like, that's all I can really much say about Lix. Like, Lix kind of just grew up with everyone, had a lot of bonds with Pokemon, and casually kind of did okay-ish. Oh, now we've unlocked a Hall of Fame badge. I've unlocked the judge function for you. We can judge things. Okay, cool. I was wondering when we get another one of those tidbits, but, anyways... I mean, there's like not much I can say about Lix, because honestly I haven't paid much attention to Lix. The real attention goes to everyone else, so I think just because Cerebrate has let off the last 2 battles, we'll talk about Cerebrate. So, remember back in Scarlet where I did want an Armor Rouge, well not necessarily Armor Rouge, but I did want a Charcadet on my squad, how I randomly found one. Yeah, this game, because I really wanted Cerebrate on my squad, I genuinely, like... you know, I went out of my way to find it, and I'll get back to the story in a second. Your beauty has become even more refined since the last time we met. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, accepting compliments with grace. I see. How wonderful. I hope you remain that way. So you're here in the place of Gita, are you? Just between you and me, I'm not exactly her biggest fan. That bewitching aura of hers overlaps too much with my own style. So maybe the best that she sent someone else for the job. With you, I feel like I can really give this battle all I've got. Without further ado, are you ready to pursue quintessential beauty together? Sure. Don't know why, but whatever. Oh, wonderful. Let's head to the battle court. Wait for the black screen to fade so I can continue reading her story, and then I can go into the story of Cerebrate. I'm really hoping I get to talk about all these stories today, because I'm honestly really intrigued by them, and I like all of them so much. Ah, the rush of exhilaration before a battle. Every cell in my body is filled with excitement. Having a totally amazing opponent such as yourself makes the feeling even more powerful. You know what? I'm really happy right now. A diamond in the rough that I helped to polish and is now sparkling as bright as one of the finest gems. Seeing others working so hard allows me to work hard myself and never shed a tear. Sadness is not in my vocabulary after all. The closest emotion I allow is the beauty of surprise. Allow me to teach you how to do true emotional spectrum practice. Okay, anyways, ignoring that. But no, Cerebrate. So, unlike my Scarlet video, or my Scarlet profile, where I found it on accident, I had to literally hunt down a Charcadet. Because I didn't find it in the area I found it in last time, or at least not that I remember. So I actively looked up where to go get it, and ran in that area for 30 minutes, finally found Cerebrate. Fuck you for being half normal type. And after a long, explained journey, Cerebrate joined the squad, but... Honestly, that's the weird thing. Remember how I always say that whenever I do, like, 2 Let's Plays, one of them's always, like, vastly different, where if I struggle with one thing, I don't struggle with it on the other side, and then vice versa? Well, remember how my Charcadet was extremely useful in my other playthrough, more or less? This one wasn't. In fact, until it evolved into Cerebrate, or until it evolved into Ceruledge, Cerebrate literally kept dying. Like, it would die in one hit. But... the thing is, though, Cerebrate, while she was a Charcadet, actually had someone to train with, and this allows me to segue into our other team member, Nobunaga. I really wanted a King Gambit on my squad for Scarlet. But the thing was, and this is where, and I realized it right before I started playing, is that King Gambit, just like Meowscarada, is half Dark type. And because of that overlapping type, I couldn't have them both on my squad. I tell you not how disappointed I was when I remembered that. So, it was like heartbreaking for me for that situation to occur. But that I just kind of had to deal with that as a part of it. But as time moved on, I was fine with it because, you know, I could do it in Violet. But anyways, I caught a Pawniard early on. And I knew that Pawniard, aka Nobunaga, was going to stay as a Pawniard for a while. And I found so many Pawniards. Except... the issue with this was, well, okay, actually, it was like the same situation with the Charcadet, where I got lost the first time around, but I eventually found it. But the issue with the Pawniards, once I found them, is that none of them were male. And I know it's weird to specify that they had to be male, but I really, really, really wanted to call my Pawniard a Nobunaga. one of my favorite characters from a different game, Inazuma 11, is called Nobunaga Oda. I really like Inazuma 11's Nobunaga Oda. Or Oda Nobunaga, however you choose to pronounce it. And the thing is, I really, like, looking at King Gambit, it just gives me Nobunaga Oda vibes. So, I, like, knew the second that I was gonna get a King Gambit on my squad, I was gonna name it Nobunaga. And in my mind, if I gave it to a female one, it just wouldn't make any sense. So, I was dead set on finding a male one, and I, no joke, sat there for 20 minutes trying to find... Why did I send out Serena knowing this thing has a fire move? And that it would lower my special attack. Okay, anyways, I knew hard out that I want to find a male Pawniard. So I waited there for 20 minutes after killing a bunch of female Pawniards, finally found a male one. By the way, this was good training for Char Cadet, and just because all of them are steel types, found Nobunaga, joined him on the squad, and pretty much they kind of trained together. Like, it sounds weird, but Nobunaga and Char Cadet, what I noticed is every time I would throw one of them into battle, if the opponent had multiple Pokemon, I would always throw out the other one next because they just happened to throw out something that the other one had a counter to. So both of my, like, swordsman Pokemon were training side by side together, and that's, like, just something I really love, that whenever Nobunaga would grow, Cerebe would grow, whenever Cerebe would grow, Nobunaga would grow as well. So I just found it, like, a very interesting scenario that always happened, like the two swordsmen were going alongside each other. In my mind, in my headcanon, even though, okay, Lix apparently suicided there. Sorry about that, Lix. But in my mind, in my headcanon, how it always worked out is because Char Cadet knew that she was gonna one day evolve into a Cerebre, what she ended up doing was she made, like, swords out of, like, flamethrower fire, or like pseudo swords, like small daggers, and while battling Pawniard, they would just casually, like, just sword fight each other every day. And I don't know, I just found, like, a fun thing I always talked about to myself whenever I was grinding with the two. And then, you know, Cerebre ended up evolving, actually, right when I got to this town. I spent like 10 minutes trying to find Synstatides, you know, the thing that you need to use to get the malicious armor. So I found them, I beat them up, I evolved, etc. It was very simplistic. And then, you know, while I was doing that, Pawniard was still only, like, I think level 48, or like low, or maybe not low, like, point is, Pawniard wasn't going to evolve before the 8th gym. So, you know, Cerebre got to step up, and then Cerebre easily wiped through this gym with pure ease, but Pawniard, in my mind, I think, was always working hard, because what ended up happening is, when I got past the 8th gym, and then when I started making my way towards Aerie, because, by the way, before I fought Aerie like, right before I fought her, is when Pawniard finally evolved into Bisharp. But when I was making my way there, Pawniard was still only a Pawniard. So, basically, I found a bunch of trainers, because I went the right way this time, unlike my Scarlet playthrough, and what ended up happening, actually, is very interesting, because Cerebre found an enemy that Cerebre couldn't take down, and then I threw out Pawniard, and Pawniard was taking names. Like, in my mind, it was just like Pawniard's finally growing up. Like, he's finally becoming the man I knew he could be, slowly turning into Bisharp. And the coincidence is that I threw out Pawniard against the Bisharp because I was trying to get the leader's crest, you know, the thing that evolves Bisharp into Nobunaga over here, King Gambit. And what ended up happening is I actually evolved off of Pawniard beating a Bisharp, because I taught it low kick or I didn't teach it low kick, but Pawniard just somehow took an attack from it and killed it. So, like, I was just so proud that Pawniard was the one that, or it didn't kill it, but it caught it, basically. And I was just so proud that Pawniard not only survived, but, you know, won, technically, in the end. And also, because of it, evolved. And then after committing genocide against pretty much every Bisharp in the neighborhood, I proceeded to evolve Bisharp into King Gambit. And while, yes, King Gambit didn't get to do anything against the match against Aerie, as you guys saw towards the Violet exclusive end, and as you guys heard from the stories, King Gambit was a massive help against Hassel in the Elite Four, against, I want to say it was, what's his name? Larry, I don't know, I was about to say Norman, Larry, the normal guy, and then, like, even against Nemona, as you guys kind of saw, and in the battle, and in that battle right there, like, all around, Nobunaga has been an amazing help to the squad. And what's even better to that is, if you guys saw Defiant, because when I first evolved Nobunaga, I was so disappointed, because I really wanted the exclusive ability Supreme Overlord. You know, when it throws out, for every Pokemon you have fainted, it gets a stat buff. I really wanted Supreme Overlord, because I thought it'd be cool. So when I learned that Nobunaga had Defiant as an ability instead, I was really disappointed. But slowly after that, I kept fighting Pokemon whose either abilities or had moves that lowered Nobunaga's stats. And every single time, like you saw in that match right there, his stats always went up. And I was so, once I realized that, I was so happy. Because, like, even though I wanted Supreme Overlord, rarely do my Pokemon faint. So I was, and plus I'm never going to play competitive anyway, so it's not like that would matter. But I was just so happy knowing that even though I got the ability I didn't want, I got the ability that actually works out a lot better for me. So Nobunaga ended up being one of my heaviest hitters I have ever seen before. So, and again, I just always like to think that Cerebre and Nobunaga always trained with each other till the end of the day. Like, because the thing I always found funny is when I did my, last picnic with this team. This was before Pawniard evolved into a Bisharp, by the way. What ended up happening was, you know, we've led with those two enough today. I think we'll lead off with Serena next just to see, because normal versus Ghost, and then just in case, we'll let Lix get ahead in case it turns back into a double battle. But, I'll continue the story in a second. Well, if it isn't my little challenger, Kay. What brings you back here, baby? Finally ready for that rap battle? I'm actually here for a gym inspection, by the way. Hold on, you're telling me La Primera sent you to check out my gym? So instead of her, I get you. She sent a rookie champion instead of coming out here herself? Doesn't she know who I am? I think she does, and that's why she sent me out to fight you, honestly. No offense. I think the camera froze for a second. Okay, anyways. Sorry, I got heated there. Don't worry, though. You aren't the one that struck the nerve. Oh well, I was just thinking I'd like to see you again anyway. Guess it's just how fate has it. If you were doing this, let's do it. Ready for me to show you how strong all those adventures made you? Yes, I am ready to show you how strong my adventures have made me. Now that's the spirit. Come on, let's put on a killer show. You're right. I'm honestly tempted to do the other half of this in the Violet side too, because honestly, I can do the Scarlet side whenever I feel like it, and they don't have different Pokemon, so, I'm kind of tempted. It feels like just yesterday that you were here for your gym test. Now you're all championed up and out doing errands for La Primera herself. Tell you something, you got to be my age. Time starts passing me by fast. Right? But that sentimental style's not worth my while. Time to kick a rhyme and hit the flow, let's go! My spirit's burning, yearning to get this battle churning. You're best to be ready to begin. Our little champion is coming into her town. Come on, baby, rattle me down to the bone. Okay, cool. Anyways, but basically the last picnic I had with this team before Pawniard evolved, but again, Cerebre was evolved at this point, is both Pawniard and Cerulege were the only Pokemon actively moving outside of, you know, like, Serena kind of moving back and forth. Like, they were both running around the entire camp, and I just found it so cute how my, Pedal Blizzard hit everyone? Oh, it does hit everyone. Yeah, it's not worth it. We'll do that one, and then just in case it hits the Mimikyu, because I'm pretty sure Lix is faster. I don't know why you wouldn't do Play Rough on Lix, but whatever. But no, I was just, like, so proud to see my, just to see, like, those two kind of running around together. And again, in my mind, like, they were just training together because they were both actively moving around so much. But, like, that's pretty much all I can say about them. Like, the two swordsmen of the squads, they've been together for so long, and, like, ever since they were their baby forms, and they've been training together ever since, ever so making each other stronger. Then, of course, there is some other members, such as Serena, actually. So when Serena joined this squad, Serena really only joined the squad because I was trying to make a full team of Paldean Pokemon, and again, really, in reality, Brave was on the squad just in case I didn't end up getting a full team of Paldean Pokemon on the squad. But, Serena was pretty much on there just because I wanted more Paldean Pokemon. And the thing that found me interesting is that for the entire point before she became an Abolive Seed, I think that's its evolved form, I don't remember, but point is, before it became that, she wasn't really that strong. And then when she evolves, her Seed Sword ability comes in helpful for my other Pokemon needing to heal, right? But she's kind of tankier now, or it's like she was tankier than before. And then, you know, but she doesn't have any good attacking moves. She pretty much only has Mega Drain and that's it. But then she learns Energy Ball. And suddenly, Serena starts one-shotting quite literally every single Pokemon I throw her across. I kid you not. She just started one-shotting people left, right, and center, baby. Like, I don't believe it. So, when that stuff started happening, I was just like, I can't believe this is the same Serena that was on my squad this whole time. She hasn't been doing anything, and now you're telling me with one move everything changes? But, I mean, like, that aside, what ended up happening is Serena over time, and then again she was her tank, right? But then she learned Petal Dance. And I was like, well, she learned Petal Blizzard first, but I never used Petal Blizzard because I just like spamming Energy Ball. But then, you know, she learned Petal Dance, and one day, it was actually the match against Clavel that I did this, that he had thrown out his Gyarados, and the Gyarados was just harming my squad left, right, and center, to the point where Nobunaga was kind of my only out at that point, and I didn't really want to throw in Nobunaga. So I threw in Serena on accident, even though I don't remember who I meant to throw in, but I know it wasn't Serena. And Serena, here's the thing, not only did she take an attack from, okay, fair enough, but not only did she take an attack from the Gyarados, but she one-shot it with Petal Blizzard. So I thought it was a coincidence, right? That she just happened to one-shot it because it was neutral. So I threw Serena out against more Pokemon. What I began to realize is Serena is casually now able to one-shot pretty much everything with either Energy Ball or with Petal Dance. So Serena slowly became our strongest member because she just never stopped one-shotting people. And I was so glad to see that Serena, who again wasn't even meant to be on this team in the first place if I had a choice, actually became a valid member of this squad. Like, she has grown so much since she was a small Olive. Like, and I was about to say small little Olive too, as like kind of a joke, but then realizing that it's actually true. And I didn't throw out Nobunaga because I like, they've already had enough screen time today, Nobunaga and Cerebre. So, you know, Serena kind of just becomes that member of the squad that's just meant to be here, or wasn't meant to be here, but slowly became probably our best member. And that, I believe, leaves us with Igor and it's a Titan over here, Chi-Chi. So I'll get to Igor first. Igor is, because Chi-Chi actually is the most important one in terms of, okay, well, Chi-Chi's my least favorite in terms of description, more or less, but she has the most important story behind everyone. Again, if you can't tell, my favorite is Nobunaga's and Cerebre's, but that's obvious. But anyways, and I'm really regretting getting rid of that, what's it called, the priority move that I had on you earlier. But anyways, what ended up happening with Igor is, Igor, again, was a Pokemon I didn't want to get originally because I thought it was going to be hell doing the 1,000 steps, because what it evolves from, again, like Pawmot, requires 1,000 steps. So I thought it would be really hard. Turns out, again, because I did that after, I evolved it after I learned the Pawmot thing, I just walked the same route that I evolved Pawmot in for about like 20 minutes straight, and it evolved. So I literally didn't spend any time with it when it was a baby form, outside of just the walking with it. So I felt really good about that, you know, being able to kind of just run with my Pokemon and, you know, get the friendship up with them, and then, you know, it evolves. And honestly, Igor was always like the solid member. Like, Igor, in my opinion, is what I call the most consistent, which I guess you could say is bad or good, because, like, you know, Igor has her performing really, like, she doesn't excel particularly, but she also doesn't, like, de-excel, like, she's a perfect middle. So, you know, while she doesn't have any amazing strengths, she doesn't have any amazing weaknesses either. So she's always gonna be, like, she'll always be that, like, one perfect Pokemon that I can always rely on to be, like, worst case scenario, if I need a wild card or, like, someone to keep the balance, I can rely on Igor to do it, because, you know, she has good moves in Bug Buzz and I think Lunge. And then she has some nice Psychic type moves too. Like, all around, Igor is a very reliable team member, and I am more than happy to have her on my squad. And if I could find Medali, that would be great, so I can, because Medali is the last one for this episode. There we go. But, you know, like, I'm glad that Igor's on the squad. Like, there's not much more I can say about her, but, like, outside of, when she needs to do damage, she does damage. Like I said, she performs the most consistently because she doesn't excel particularly in any areas, but she doesn't, like, de-excel either. She's always, like, a perfect middle, and she's always one of the higher level Pokemons. In fact, she's always the one that's given, Lix a run for his money. In fact, Igor's the only one that has ever been, like, outside of when I was leveling up Bisharp into King Gambit, because that was the only time, because I accidentally overleveled Bisharp, that was the only time that that Nobunaga, or like anyone that wasn't Igor, actually surpassed Lix in levels. Igor's the only other Pokemon that's actually surpassed Lix in levels, and it's happened more than once, unlike Nobunaga, which again was a coincidence on pure accident. But Igor has passed Lix a lot, and then always was on par with Lix. So Igor was always that, like, perfect team member that kind of was meant to be what he is. You know what, just to give Igor some screen time, because I know his last Pokemon is probably going to be a Staraptor based off of everyone else's Ace and Terrasilize being the same as it was when we first fought them. So, I would rather regular mode. Oh, okay. How do I get it into non-regular mode? Do I just talk to Larry? If you come back to these guys, if you have enough Terra shards, they'll change your Terra type. I don't know where Larry is. Oh, this is the guy that'll change. This is the person that'll change Terra type. Where is Larry? Oh, he's at his gym. That's why. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Okay, I'll be right back actually because the camera's about to go down. Back on to story time as the camera continues to take its time loading. That kind of and again, Igor's like the short one, but Igor's like just a consistent member nonetheless, and when we throw him out into battle, you'll probably see it. But that brings us to our final member, and probably the one that has the most real-world meaning, because Chi-Chi is kind of meant for it. Oh, that's beautiful to see a moon and like the shining stars in the sky. But dude, how much of this do I want to give away in terms of information? Okay, let's just say this. Okay, so here's how Chi-Chi joined. Remember earlier when I said Pawmot was a dual type, and then that's when I replaced Ghost for Pawmot when like at the last minute, and then we leveled up Ghost, and then Ghost ended up realizing Cerebrate had Ghost typing too, so I changed. That's when we found Chi-Chi. I no joke swear to you, in that moment when I realized it, I looked around the area, which happened to be on my way to Montenevera, and I just like looked at, or not, well, it was my way away from Montenevera because I had flown there. I don't remember why I went back to Montenevera. I just did, but the point is, I had just looked around casually, and I was like, what do I want to do with my last team member now? And I was just panicking, and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what? I do want an ice type on my squad. And I did say when I first caught Chi-Chi, I didn't name Chi-Chi back when I first caught her, but when I first caught that said Titan, because I had actually done that catching before I went to Medali, because I did say before in that Medali video that that I got lost and then we lost Faye as a team member because I ended up finding Espada instead. How I had done part of it on my Violet playthrough to, you know, make sure I wouldn't get lost, and obviously that didn't go well, but I had caught that to Titan during that time span. So I was like, maybe I can use that as Titan. And then I checked because I remembered that's a Titan evolves by Ice Stone. So I looked at my eyes to see if I had an Ice Stone, and I didn't. I was like, you know what? Fine. I can evolve to Titan whenever I want to. And then I looked at my Pokedex, and I believe like Chi-Chi at the time, again, still named Setwad, or whatever its name is, was level 34 or something compared to the rest of my team, which was all level 50 at that point. So I was like, you know what? Let's go evolve, let's go get Setwaddle, bring it all the way up to level 51, where the rest of the squad is, and then evolve it. So I did, and during that entire time, I was thinking of nicknames for Setwaddle. And that entire time, Setwaddle stayed on the back of the party, and this was during the time where Nobunaga evolved. So like, right after Nobunaga evolved is right before I took on Aries. So right before I took on Aries, that's when I evolved to Titan. But pretty much the name origin for Chi-Chi is, and the reason why it's spelled that way too, is because a friend of mine, like, one of their favorite characters from a game happens to be spelt that way, and happens to be, according to my other friend that plays the game, is pronounced Chi-Chi. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it or not, but that's how I've been pronouncing it, because I believe that's what he said it was pronounced as. But anyways, I call her Chi-Chi because A, the character was a female, and oh, just so happens that, nice job, Igor, for toughing it out, even though I gave you like the least on-screen like talk about time, but like, you see what I mean, Igor performs consistently. But anyways, you know, Chi-Chi happens to be a female, the Set Titan happened to be a female, so I was like, oh, here comes War Eagle. Speaking of Chi-Chi, let's throw out Chi-Chi, even though there's a chance she might have a fighting type move. But, you know, like, it was important to me to call it Chi just because it felt like it's a shout out to that friend. If that friend's watching, you know who you are. Cause like I kind of already made it clear of who it is. There's like 5 people that know who it is, I guess is like what I would say. Or not even 5, I think me, the person themselves. Somehow you're faster than a Braviary. I knew you had close combat, you ass! Okay, Chi-Chi, you might actually die. I'm sorry about this, Chi-Chi. I didn't want to. I thought you would hit the blizzard, which is why I was confident in throwing you out. I mean, you're faster. You know, I'm gonna go for it. Unless the thing has like a priority move. You should be faster. Yeah, come on, kill it one shot, No! Chi-Chi, survive this. Chi-Chi! Chi-Chi, the mad woman! Chi-Chi, you froze! Chi-Chi, you mad woman! No! Chi-Chi! Chi-Chi, no! Chi-Chi! No! Chi-Chi! Fuck! Damn it! What are the odds of that happening, that it thaws out the turn and gets thawed? Man, that's gotta suck. I'm sorry about that, Chi-Chi. And I'm sorry about that to my friend who I named Chi-Chi after. But, anyways, Chi-Chi was a, like, the name, again, just came from a friend of mine whose favorite character happens to also be named Chi-Chi. So shout out to them if they're watching this. But, the other thing is, I put Set Titan on the squad, like I said, just to fill up a slot. So, you know, when we got to this point, I'm now realizing this thing has a ground type move on it, but I don't care. But I truly didn't believe in my mind that Chi-Chi would be a good member. Like I said, I put Chi-Chi on the squad, A, because Paldea Pokemon, and B, just to fill an open slot on the team. Except, over time, Chi-Chi actually kind of proved to me that she deserves to be on this squad for a reason. Because what ended up happening with Chi-Chi... Also, Nobunaga's a tank. I mean, granted, I've given all my Pokemon items like those feathers and like those small proteins and iron and stuff like that, but Nobunaga has genuinely been like a tank this entire time. But anyways, and here's an exclusive move, Kotao Cleave. But Chi-Chi, every battle I've thrown her in, she's actually done work. Like, she will corner Pokemon, as you saw there, she will freeze them. She takes hits left, right, and center. And if you remember the Violet Area Zero video, I mean, you should, it came out okay, well, for me, if I'm uploading this one first, and it was the last video that was uploaded to the channel for Pokemon. If I'm changing the order, then I don't know. But either way, it was still this same week that I'm uploading this video. But anyways, Chi-Chi took 2 powerful attacks to the face and lived both of them with 1 health. Granted, it was due to the Macho Band, but I want this to be clear. Chi-Chi has had the Macho Band for so long and never once did it go off. And not because Chi-Chi would always faint, because Chi-Chi literally would never faint. Like, I don't think you guys understand, like, Chi-Chi literally never fainted up until that point right there. So, like, Chi-Chi was pretty much an immortal, like, or up until the Area 0 point. So, pretty much Chi-Chi was immortal, and then finally when I needed her to take hits, not only did she take 1, but she took a second one. Chi-Chi took 2 hits back to back. And here's the thing, the character that I based her off of in terms of naming, I have that character in the game, which is much to my friend's dismay because that character is very important to her, and I just happened to get that character on the very first try, which was joking, but which was a joke between us, because I said that when I started playing the game, I was somehow going to get one of their favorite top 3 characters on my first attempt, and lo and behold, I did, and the best part was that attempt was purely on accident. So, on pure accident, I got her favorite character, or one of her favorite characters, like, on my first try, which was just funny to me. But anyways, you know, after... This thing's probably going to hit me with a close combat, so maybe I shouldn't have Terastallized. But, point is that, like, in that game, Chi-Chi is also very useful to me because she's actually my healer. She's a healer on my team. And quite literally, she is the sole reason why I've survived so many, like, close, I guess, encounters. Because, you see what I mean? Nobunaga took that somehow. But, like, you know, Chi-Chi, like, always is taking these, like, big deals for me. Like, she's always taking these powerful, I mean, like, she's not my strongest hitter, but she's the reason why I keep staying alive, because she always heals my squad. So I just have, like, full 100% faith in Chi-Chi to always do something, and lo and behold, that luck translates over to this game as well, because she casually is the sole reason why I stay alive so much, and she is, like, a literal definition of a tank. Chi-Chi, when I need her to, always holds out. And even in Elite 4, when I was struggling, because I said before that, you know, I always, like, it's a 50-50 struggle whenever I'm playing, like, for Pokemon. Like, when I struggle on one side, I don't struggle in that same area in the other. Well, I didn't struggle in the Elite 4 in the other gym, or in the other game. So, when I played this game, I struggled with the Elite 4, and Chi-Chi was one of my only team members that somehow didn't struggle. She was until we got to Hassel for some reason. For some reason it was against Hassel I struggled. But before Hassel, she was just a solid wall. Nothing took her down. If I needed to heal, she somehow made it even so she could take 2 attacks. I can heal up 2 other team members, and then I can finally heal up Chi-Chi, and then she can just go on a rampage and kill everything else, or I can just swap her out, one of the 2. And again, once we got to Hassel, that's when Chi-Chi finally struggled. But even then, Chi-Chi took a very powerful attack that was super effective. Didn't go down to 1 health. She actually survived with a little bit over. I think it was like 43 health or something. Then she took down that one Pokemon in one hit. To be fair, it was a dragon type, so all things considered, it made a lot of sense. And then, you know, I swapped out to the rest of my team, but all around, Chi-Chi is just a beast. Like, even though she was just like Appleseed or Serena over here was mentioned to be a random team member for the sake of Paldea Pokemon, she was actually one of my most useful team members ever, just because of what she does and what she stands for. So, like, I really got to talk about this team today. There's been a lot of fun moments with all of us. You know, we've all had our ups and downs, and we've all stick together through thick and thin. We all have our small little stories we have with each other. And come on, I want to set up a picnic, because I never do picnics on this playthrough, because I'm always too busy trying to do things. Bullsh! Oh, while riding a Pokemon, never mind. Okay, so you know what? To end it off today, we're going to end it with a picnic because I haven't done this in a long while on the channel, and I know I haven't done this at least in a while on my playthroughs. So let's give a nice goodbye to these guys. Don't worry, if my plan stays true, I don't plan on saying goodbye on the Violet playthrough just yet. I have at least one more video planned that I'm gonna do on the Violet playthrough. What it is, I have no idea. Hi Mira, how are you? I didn't mean to ignore you, Lix, I'm sorry. Hi you, how are you? Where's Cerebre? Oh. I'm surprised you two aren't talking. You know, this is normally how their dynamic was. Like, Cerebre would always be, like, on one side of Abuliev, and then, like, Nobunaga would be on the other side. But, like, look at them. This is kind of the peaceful group. And you know what? I see an opportunity in mind. I wonder if I can... No, don't come over here, Serena. Don't come over here. Don't come over here. No! Serena, why'd you gotta do this to me? Serena, can you get, like... Okay, you're getting a little bit close. Ah! No! Oh, wait, that was perfect, actually. No! Mira! Mira, get back in the picture. Mira, stop moving, child. What was it? It was... Okay, Mira's not gonna get back in the picture, but... I mean, I got a picture of the squad. That's all that matters to me. So... I think without further ado, I'm going to end this one here. Let me quickly make a sandwich because, I mean, to be fair, it's a sandwich. You can't have a picnic without a sandwich. And then afterwards, we'll call it a day because, honestly, I think all the Pokemon here are just a little bit tired. So, with a bunch of ingredients that I randomly bought literally last time for a free sandwich, let's do an Ultra Peanut Butter Sandwich. And we'll use a gold pick for this one because I bought a bunch of picks, too. I'm not going to go creative mode with this one. I think Scarlet's the one where I choose to go creative mode, I guess. Let's get these nice little bananas. I'm surprised an Ultra Peanut Butter Sandwich has bananas on them, but whatever. To be fair, though, I guess it's good, so to each their own, I guess. And then we place the bread down right there, and we'll follow the pickup right here. A little bit off from the middle, but hey, it still looks good. So, with a nice little end-off sandwich biting. Oh, that's a nice background with the leaves, even though I know that's a small glitch. You're gonna eat Kay. Kay's face is frozen. I'm a little worried. Kay's face was frozen solid, but I mean, hey, it was a 3-star. So, without further ado, I'm going to end this one here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, follow Twitch. I think I'll see you all in the next one. So don't forget to check us out.